everyone! Today I'm going to show you guys how to make keto beef samosas. This low-carb recipe is delicious and perfect to make for whenever you are craving to eat samosas. So let's get started with the recipe. First, I grease a pan with oil. I'm using coconut oil. Then add a small chopped onion to the pan and let it cook for a while. Then I add ground beef. I also like to add butter to the beef to give it more moisture and flavor. After I add salsa. I'm using salsa that I bought from Costco. For this recipe, I'm not going to be using red chili powder because the salsa itself is already really spicy. Next, I'm adding cauliflower. Then, fresh ground ginger. After, I add frozen mixed veggies. This frozen veggie mixture does have corn, which adds carbs to the recipe, but we're only adding 3/4 of a cup for the whole recipe, so each serving size will still have very little carbs. This recipe is packed with a ton of different spices, so we can get that delicious samosa flavor. First, add 2 teaspoons of salt. Then add 5 teaspoons of fennel seeds. Two teaspoons of cumin, then add 2 tablespoons of curry, two and a half teaspoons of garlic powder, I'm also adding 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, and half a teaspoon of paprika. And you want to mix all the ingredients together well. So for this recipe, we're going to make a fathead dough. And to make the dough, I start by adding 1 tablespoon of butter into a pan and let it melt. Then I add 275 grams of grated cheese. I'm actually using goat mozzarella cheese, but you could also use regular cow cheese. Then I make sure that the cheese melts at low temperature. Once the cheese has melted, I add 2 ounces of cream cheese. Then I make sure that is melted as well. After, in a large bowl, I add 1.5 cups of almond flour. I also add about a pinch of salt. Then I make a little well in the middle and add 2 eggs. I whisk the eggs together and then add the melted cheese. I make sure to mix all the ingredients well together. The dough is pretty sticky, so I place the dough in the freezer for about 20 to 30 minutes, and that will harden the dough so it's easier to manage. The dough is pretty fragile because it doesn't have any gluten to keep it together, so I'm going to show you the method I use to help make that triangle-shaped samosa. using this dough. I grease my hands a little bit with oil and then take a small chunk of dough into my hands and roll it up into a ball. Then using parchment paper, I flatten out the dough into sort of an oval or a rectangle shape. I don't have a rolling pin, so I'm using a round glass jar to help roll out the dough. Then I place about a spoonful of the meat mixture into the middle upper part of the dough. Then using the parchment paper, I fold the dough on top of the meat mixture. Then, using the back of a table knife, I cut the dough into a triangle shape. And that's how I'm able to get a triangle-shaped samosa. Before frying the samosas, I bake them first in the oven until their crust is cooked when I touch it. In other words, it's not sticky. I do this step just to make sure that the whole dough is evenly cooked. After, I fry them in a pan with hot oil. And there you have it, delicious keto samosas. I like to eat these samosas with a little bit of lemon juice on them. This recipe does take a bit of time to make, but at the very end you have these delicious keto samosas that are really worth trying. I hope you guys like this recipe, and for more tasty recipes like this, you can check out my channel. Alright, I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.